Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Saturday, where are we now? 7th of November. And yes, what a big weekend of sport we have lined up for us. So let's get cracking in, because we'll be talking about the cycling with the SBS Bank Tour coming to a crescendo. And the Vuelta a España also in cycling doing a similar thing. And the proposed shake-ups to the New Zealand football sporting structure. And we have good news in the tennis for as a Kiwi makes the Tour Grand Finals. We'll bring up to date with how the Stags went last night against Otago. And also news from the Rugby League world, as well as other rugby union news as well. So let's crack on then, and straight off into that tennis news. And congratulations to Michael Venus, who has qualified for the ATP Tour Finals doubles with his Australian partner John Peers. They'll be at the London end of season event there. They reached the quarterfinals of the Paris Masters, and in doing so, that secured their place. They'll obviously be in action in that quarterfinal game at the Paris Masters, and we will keep you up to date with how they are going, how they go in the rest of that tournament. Moving on then to the cycling, and over in the Vuelta a España. It was a lumpy day with a risk of echelons and the crosswinds as well, which didn't come to pass. It looked like a day that could have been a breakaway day, but in the end, the main teams decided to fight things out, and the break was caught. We ended up with a group of 32 crossing the line together, with Magnus Cort Nielsen of EF Pro Cycling taking the win there, just ahead of Primož Roglic, the overall leader. That gave him Primož Roglic a 6-second time bonus. So heading into Saturday's decisive stage in the mountains, he now holds a 45-second lead over Richard Carapaz and 53 seconds back to Hugh Carthy. You've got to say those three, the winner is going to come from one of those three in the Vuelta a España. So a good day in the saddle for Primož Roglic there. Moving on to the SBS Bank Tour of Southland, and in stage 6, it was a breakaway that got away to hoover up those bonus seconds. Campbell Stewart of Base Solutions Racing won the stage ahead of Ethan Batt and Joshua Kench, both of Blackspoke Pro Cycling Academy there. So a 9-man group got away and stayed away ahead of the main peloton. And so no change to the overall classification. Corbin Strong of PowerNet still leads the way, 10 seconds ahead of Michael Vink, the Transport Energy Tallys, and James Oram is 16 seconds back with Blackspoke Pro Cycling. Ollie Jones from PowerNet also is 20 seconds back, and then we have a couple of Blackspoke Pro Cycling Academy riders in Aaron Gate, 33 seconds, but there's a big gap back to Luke Motorway. You've got to say that today's individual time trial is going to be a battle between those top 5 there. You'd expect the winner's probably going to come from the top 3, but hey, the 4th and 5th do have an outside chance there. 2 stages today, the individual time trial, and then also stage 7 back into Invercargill to finish things off. With ex-winner or previous winners just behind him, Corbin Strong, the under-23 rider, is going to need a very good individual time trial today to hold on to that lead. It's going to be a close run thing, folks. So keep your eye on how stage 6 goes, which starts at 10 a.m. this morning around Winton, as I say, before the stage 7 runs from Winton back to Invercargill. They're expected to arrive at approximately 3 p.m. in Invercargill, leaving 1:30 from Winton. So I wouldn't be surprised if that one finished in a sprint stage, and a good one to get out to watch if you are in Invercargill. Talking about Invercargill, and Southland had a big win over Otago last night, 32-15, shutting out Otago in that second half, and really playing the conditions really well. They were trailing 10-15 at half-time, playing into the wind, but with the wind at their back, took full control of the game in that second half. Otago really not helped by Josh Ioane having an absolute shocking day from the tee, an evening that's and also actually kicking from hand as well, as he managed to kick at least one ball dead when trying to kick to the corner from a penalty. Had a bit of a shocker last night, and we wanted to forget that and move on from that one very soon. Other games in rugby today, we have the possibles versus the probables for the Black Ferns. That's in Albany Stadium, kicking off at 2 p.m. today. I will be at that game, hopefully bringing you post-match interviews and other coverage from that game. So don't forget to check out the New Zealand Sports Radio Facebook page for all of that. At the same time, Stephen Harris will be at Eden Park for Auckland versus Northland in the Mitre 10 Cup. So his coverage will also be there on New Zealand Sports Radio's Facebook page. I will then stay on at Albany Stadium for North Harbour versus Counties Manukau in the Mitre 10 Cup there. So lots of coverage coming to you today. Tomorrow I will be down in Waikato, or down in Hamilton, sorry, for Waikato versus Bay of Plenty as well. So we'll get into 3 of the 7 Mitre 10 Cup games this weekend, bringing you coverage from those, I say, as well as that possibles versus probables game. Over in South Africa, and it is Super Rugby unlocked, and it's in the second half between the Sharks and the Cheetahs, and it's a low-scoring affair, 6-3 at the moment. The Griquas will take on the Stormers, and the Lions taking the Bulls tonight, our time, well, early in the morning, Sunday, our time. Also, it's not just Rugby Union that's going on this weekend, but also we have International Rugby League as well, with our women in action. First off, there will be Niue women will take on Tonga women. That will start at 2 p.m. at the Mount Smart Stadium, followed by the New Zealand Fern Kiwis, who will be taking on Fetu Samoa. That kicks off at 4 p.m. today. So Rugby League action going on as well, or International Rugby League action going on as well on the women's side there. Do catch up with all of that action. We'll be talking about that on Wednesday evening. The Sun Off Show, yes, moving back to Wednesday evening next week at 8 p.m. Talking of local action, and the ISPS Handa Women's Premiership is underway in the football. Last weekend we saw big wins for Canterbury over Southland and Auckland over Central, with Northern and Capital drawing. This weekend, today, we'll see Central women taking on Bay of Plenty women, Capital taking on Southern, and then those 2 big winners from last weekend, Canterbury taking on Auckland down there, kicking off at 1 p.m. today. So, yeah, it's a big game in the Women's Premiership today. Also, obviously, in the Rugby Chiefs, I nearly forgot, tonight is the Bledisloe Cup 4, or the second round of the Rugby Championship, or big changes for both the Wallabies and the All Blacks in their lineups there. Well, remember, we're at the beginning of a World Cup cycle, so both, and with 2 new head coaches, so both coaches trying out new things. A risky selection by Dave Rennie sees Reece Hodge take on the number 10 jersey, not a regular position for him. and Bowden Barrett for the All Blacks gets a crack at that number 10 jersey as well. So I'll be on the socials chatting about that game this evening as I watch it with Ashwin, our regular cricket host, and he'll also be, him and Stephen Harris probably hopefully both be joining me at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. We round up all of the action, rugby action from the weekend on our rugby review show. So join us 8 p.m. Sunday evening for that one. Now, I'm very sorry, but I've been forgetting to keep you up to date with the squash over this the last couple of days. Paul Cole, the number one Kiwi player, who is number 5 in the world, is going very well in that one. First off, he beat Georgie Marchais 7-11, 11-9, 9-11, 11-6, 11-5 to get himself into the quarter-finals. And in the quarter-finals, he managed to, he prevailed in that one as well, beating Marwan El Shulbagi. Again, another 5-gamer there, 8-11, 11-4, 5-11, 11-9, 11-5. So 2 big games back-to-back going into his semi-final. In the semi-final, he made short work of it, though, winning 11-9, 11-0, 11-0 against the 12th ranked Fares Desoku of Egypt. He will be facing the world number 1 Al Farag in the final. Al Farag also came through in 3 games as well, 11-9, 11-2, 11-7, sorry, 11-4 in that one. So Paul Cole in the final of the Qatar Classic there against Egypt's world number 1. So congratulations to him. Fantastic tournament he is having, and coming towards the end of their squash season. He's in some real good form overseas, missing the nationals over here, unfortunately. You have now started the day the best way, up to speed with all of the important sports news. It's a blue sky today. As I say, I will be at the rugby at 2 games today. Stephen Harris will be at 1. Get down to your local sports events as well. As I said, we've got that women's premiership football action. We've got the International Rugby League down at Mount Smart. We've got the SBS Bank South Tour finishing in Invercargill as well. So lots of sport, folks, for you to get out and about watching. Nothing beats live sport. Obviously, it's great to watch it on Sky. If you can't and do, we'll be watching the Bledisloe Cup 4 on Sky this evening. So do join us on the old socials, having a chat about that one. I'll be back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with the morning sports briefing. Your best way to start the day up to date with all of the important sports news. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend, folks.